Hey guys, what's up? This is David from ConMenRDW here, and this is a video of me just making a video talking about my thoughts on Crash Team Rumble. If you listened to the episode of Binge Blast that recently happened, I'm going to actually put a card up here so you can go and check that out there. But I actually got a good amount of hands-on time with the closed beta of Crash Team Rumble that recently happened, so that was awesome. I got to play with my friend Mark Not Mark and also my friend Chaosifies as well. And it was us two, or us three, and then usually an extra random playing Crash Team Rumble online that beta weekend, and it was a really good time actually. And I wanted to just make this video to show you guys some gameplay that I captured of like Tana, Crash, Coco, and whoever else I played with, and also just let y'all know if I think the game is worth checking out in like the next month, because like that beta was in April. But the game doesn't come out until June, and between then and now, we have Tears of the Kingdom, and we have Street Fighter, and we have a couple other things coming out. So I just want to let y'all know how this game might be, so y'all can know to keep it on your radar. Because personally, I am keeping it on my radar. This game is really fun for what it was. It was a very great time. Someone who's grown up with Crash and didn't really start playing his games insanely, pun and very much intended there, until the Insane trilogy that dropped a couple years back, and then playing Crash Team Racing, and then getting Crash 4. I'm really big into the Crash franchise. I've always been like drawn to it, so them to take another approach into the franchise and make like a multiplayer specific game where it's like a battle arena and like almost like an esports potential competitive type of situation going on here with the Crash franchise. I think that's really interesting. So yeah, let's get right into it. I'm gonna break this down into like a couple different major areas here, and I'm probably gonna toss a timestamp onto the timeline for you in case you want to get to specific parts. But we're just gonna start off here with like the general premise of the game and my thoughts on that. Let me break this down for you. So it's a 4v4 MOBA-esque type of situation. I don't want to say MOBA, so I'll say multiplayer online platform arena. So a MOPA? I don't know. It's a work in progress. But you are working with 3 other players, and it's a coordinated team of 4 characters versus 4 characters, trying to get to 2,000 Wumpa Fruit deposited into your bank before the other team. I don't know if that number can be fluctuated for like special custom rules. I feel like it might be able to. Like, I don't see why 2,000 will be like the flat rate specifically. It seems like that could be a thing that can be changed. But yeah, it's 2,000 for what I played. And there are 3 classes of characters. So there's gonna be, I think, maybe 8 characters at launch in the game. And we got Crash and Tana, who are the scorer characters that were at least playable in the beta. So I was able to play as Crash and Tana, and they basically were able to hold more fruit than the other characters that you could pick. Coco and Cortex were the boosters, and they were able to capture these like gem boost pads that multiply your team's Wumpa rate faster than other characters. So like usually you have to stand on those to claim them, but Coco and Cortex were able to like claim them faster than other characters. Then also there were relics around the map too, as well as the Wumpa Fruit, which you can use to get these boost pads, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But sometimes they will be able to get them in bundles of 2 rather than just 1. So playing as them, you were able to kind of like, I guess, get your team power-ups faster and more efficiently than other characters. And then there were the blocker characters, which are pretty much the BM characters, the characters that are a pain in the ass to fight against, but you really do need one on your team. And those characters have like the most health, they hit the hardest, and they usually have the most defense, I'd say. Dingo Dial was the one character like that was available in the demo, so or in the beta, and then I think there's gonna be like 2 other characters like that at full launch, but we'll see. All right, let's move on to the flow of gameplay here. So the matches are about, I think they were timed max 10 minutes. So if you didn't end up hitting that 2K Wumpa Fruit goal before 10 minutes, it was just the team that had the most fruit won. Pretty much when the matches start, you choose your item, choose your character, and then you go into the matches, and then you basically start running around, breaking crates, grabbing fruit and relics. Pretty much classic Crash 3D platformer controls. Like if you've played Crash Bandicoot 4, you know exactly how this game's gonna feel, because Crash and Coco and Tana And I think Cortex and like all the characters that they let us play as in the demo or in the beta were literally the same controls that they had, give or take, from the actual like Crash 4 game. So if you know how to play those, you know how to play this immediately. The controls are very easy. So I think that's really cool for like the accessibility and getting players into the game. Yeah, you're running around breaking crates, grabbing fruit and relics, and then you're also grabbing relics to power up these relic pads that are like specific for each specific stage, and they're like power-ups that you can kind of like hack, give or take, I'll say. Like you can claim them for your team. There's these pads that are all over the map, and either team can claim them, but like once you claim them, the other team can't interact with them. So it's kind of like you're hacking them. It kind of makes me think of like Sombra from Overwatch, where you deposit your relics to claim like a beach ball on the beach level, and then it pretty much gives you increased movement speed, and also if you bump into other players it does damage to them, but also gives them crazy knockback, so it knocks them off the stage into the water. Or there's the spike ball on the junkyard stage, which is the same as the beach ball off rip, but it also does just more damage over time because it has spikes on it. And then there was like jump pads on one level to like get you to like the height, the max world height area of one area. So that was really cool, and they all kind of varied in price. There were like 5 relics or 8 relics depending on what they were, and each character could hold flat rate, I think 15. I don't think the boosters got an increase on how many relics they could hold, but everyone could hold about 15. And then there were also these mega relic pads on the map that usually took more than one player to claim. So there were like really important boosts that your team could get that would pretty much change the game for you guys. So on like the beach level, there was a bonus bank, so each team had their own depository for their Wumpa fruit. But if you claimed the bonus bank, then you had like a second place to deposit, so you could probably score more points faster if you just have an extra deposit spot, and that costs like 25 relics. So you have to coordinate with your team of whether or not you want to go for that bonus bank or try to go for putting fruit in your own bank. There was also on the Tiki Island level, there was a Uka Uka relic pad, and that cost about like I think 30 relics. But if you got that, your team was invincible, and then also it started raining down fireballs from the sky and stuff. So that was like a really huge game changer power up to get. So it was definitely really important for like if that came up, you and your team really wanted to make sure the other team didn't get it. So now you guys are like, okay, we're not going for the small stuff. We're all inputting our relics into this pad so we can get this boost. So I think that's a really cool aspect to the gameplay in terms of like giving you different points of like importance to get your team's attention, to like kind of make it where it's like, do you want to risk not getting this boost and then it may be hindering your team later if the other team gets it, or do you want to keep focusing on specifically putting Wumpa fruit in the basket, which is also like a thing that you're trying to do because you want to win the game that way. And also there's these gem boost pads which are on the map in certain points. Sometimes there was like maybe 2 points on the map depending on the size of the map. There was also like 3 points where you can get gem multipliers, and pretty much if your team claimed like the gems in a specific zone, and your character has to jump on the boost pads, and then that'll claim them for your team. If your team holds all of those in that specific zone, then after a certain amount of time you'll claim them, and then you'll get like a point multiplier, so up to like 30%, 40% like percent, 80%, 100%. And if you get that 100% boost, then you're basically getting double points for all of your Wumpa fruit deposits. So making sure that the other team doesn't claim those pads and doesn't get those multipliers, because I've actually had a couple of games where my team wasn't really caring too much about getting the boost pads, and then we just got like within 3 minutes of the match, the announcer's like, you guys are about to lose, and I'm like, what the heck happened? It's because we weren't going for the multipliers and we weren't getting those boost pads. So like I said, there's a lot of things going on the maps that other than just getting the Wumpa fruit and making sure your other team doesn't deposit their Wumpa faster than you, there are some things that are going on that like give you senses of urgency during the match. So I like that a lot. All right, character progression here. before each match, like I said, you're choosing your character, and then you're also choosing an item that you want to go into the match with. So there's different like items that you can unlock. I guess these are probably locked by progression. In the beta, it was like to unlock the Wumpa Bank power-up, you had to pretty much score a certain amount of fruit as a scorer class character, and that maybe took like, say, give or take an hour of playing with a character of that type, and then you unlocked it. Or you had to unlock like this big alien guy that you can place on a score pad or some point of interest, then it'll basically block the other team from interacting with it. But in order to get that, you had to play as like Coco or Cortex for a bit. So if they have other abilities and they just get locked behind gameplay, that's fine, as long as they don't have anything where you have to like buy things like that. If you just unlock them naturally, that's totally fine. But there was like the Wumpa Bank, like I said, which was good for the score class characters because it would give them like an extra 120 Wumpa fruit that you can score. You just have to like let it charge. So basically when you unlock it and activate it, you can't die. So then it just becomes you have to mind your own business, not get caught or beat up by anybody, and then just go for those big 200 to 300 point deposits each time. So that was really cool. I was running that one a lot. Then there's the Fly Trap Plant, which was like you could place it on gem boost pads, you could place it on deposit points, and it would pretty much claim them for your team, or make it where the other team can't interact with them. And then also it would be like an area of effect debuff where it would like spit out venom or spit out like slime and slow down the other team. So that was something that you could get there. And then like I said, there was the alien, and that was like a really big pain in the ass. Like anyone who put that thing down, it was immediately like, we need to get this thing out of here, because you can do damage to it, so you can get rid of it. But that and then like a dingo dial nearby, you're just not depositing points or doing anything for a bit. So that was a thing. And then also there was like a fridge that you could put down, like a refrigerator, and same thing, claims points, hinders other teams from interacting with it, but also it acts like a healing totem. So if your other teammates or you are around it, you guys will immediately get healed. And the healing on it was really good. So some players were running that specifically to be like, I will be by my blocker character, and I will just specifically heal them with it. So that was a pain in the ass, especially if like multiple people had the fridge, and I think the effect may be stacked. So that was something else. And also, as you're playing as certain characters, like if you're playing as Crash, if you're playing as Coco, Cortex, or whatever, each character has their own specific progression line for things that you can unlock. So if you like to play as a certain character, you will get rewarded for playing as that character. Over time, you'll unlock like emotes for that character. You'll get special progression cosmetics and stuff. You'll unlock other things that you can just use on your general account, like a profile picture or like a tagline for your account and stuff like that. So it'll be noticeable who likes playing certain characters, because they'll have certain things unlocked that only players that put a lot of time into those characters will have. So I think that's really cool. The game also will have a battle pass, as most games nowadays often do. It's like you can't get around not having battle passes now. So there will be a battle pass where every time you play a game, you'll get XP, and then depending how good you do, you'll get more or less XP for other things too, like how many Wumpa you collect, how many characters you KO, how many boosts you get with the gems and relics you collect. All those things factor into the general amount of XP you'll get, which will go towards your battle pass. And then as you unlock levels of the battle pass, you get the usual stuff where you get like certain cosmetics for characters, emotes, taglines, profile pictures, different skins for like your character's outfit, or even like for their weapons and stuff like that too. So that's really cool. The game, like I said, the game isn't free to play, but usually with games like this that are gonna be, even though you're buying in, it's still like you still want an incentive to keep playing. So they're giving you a battle pass where it like gives you rewards for putting time into this game. But yeah, Crash Team Rumble it's a good game that came out. I think it's coming out at a pretty good time, especially considering we're losing a couple major multiplayer titles in the space at this moment, like Knockout City, for example, and Rumbleverse, RIP them. Those games are shutting down very soon. So since those games are leaving, and those are specifically also games that like hit a certain niche where they're not multiplayer titles that you really need to shoot anything, being a multiplayer game where it doesn't really involve shooting or like a high skill ceiling, like that, where you have to, like, it's a battle royale or like a team deathmatch shooter or anything, having games like that available for, like, say if schools want to do esports, or if it just wants to be for other players that aren't into that sort of thing. Crash Team Rumble is coming out at a good time where it can take that spot for those type of players. So I think it's really cool, since I said, like, anyone can easily jump in and learn the game, and it has those very easy, like, 3D platformer controls. So I think that because there's an opening for more of those unique experiences in the multiplayer field right now, I think we're going to be really good for that type of thing. And in terms of this game being competitive, there is, like, a good amount of... It's easy to jump into Crash Team Rumble, but then there also is, like, some tech that players that put in the time will notice. And even, like, early into the beta, people were noticing there's, like, some tech. Like, for example, Crash and Coco had, like, a body slam. But usually, like they do in the Crash games, if you jump and then do the body slam, you'll get, like, an extra little boost in the air. So you can use that tech in Crash Team Rumble for platforming. So you could, like, jump cancel out of a body slam and then double jump, and then you'll get extra tech off of that body slam. So you'll end up getting a little bit extra boost. Or you could, like, jump, body slam cancel, and then, like, press right trigger to do, like, an air dash, which was also, like, with Coco, she also had one of those too. So using that maneuverability in order to navigate the map in certain ways is actually really cool, because there's certain routes where it's like, oh yeah, I want to jump on this platform and across this bridge and then go on the other side, but I could also walk across the bridge and then jump tech off the side, and I can cut, like, a second or two off of my run to get to the specific point. So using those type of skills when navigating these arenas, I think it's going to be really cool to see what people figure out, definitely. And then lastly, also this, like I said, this is the Crash Team Rumble. Like, it's a team game. It's not just players rushing to grab Rumble Fruit by themselves. You are playing with other players. So being able to build up that team composition and also that coordination with, like I said, there are multiple roles that characters can take. So it's like, if you want to personally go for if you're like a high level platformer on the team and you feel like you can get the fruit faster than most of your other friends, yeah, you maybe want to be a scorer. Or if you want to play like a more of a support role, who could be a booster, where you're actually helping the scorer get those multipliers for your team so you guys can get more points. Or if you want to be the big body blocking dude, you can play as a blocker character and also, like, grief the other team with just being in the way, being a nuisance, and making sure they're not scoring. So there are lots of play styles for people that want to hit certain roles in this game. So not everyone's experience is going to be the same, depending on what they want to get out of the characters they want to use. And also, when people are really good at this game, like, you will have some pretty close matches. Like, we had certain rounds where it came down to the wire. Like, we each had maybe less than 50 Wumpa Fruit on a deposit that we had to get. And it's like, we couldn't get to our bank because their dingo dialer, someone was blocking us, and they couldn't get to their point because we were blocking them. And we kind of hit a stalemate for a couple minutes to where it got down to the wire. And it was pretty much whoever can come together with their team and, like, finesse the other one faster and more efficiently. That's when the games really, like, got down to the wire, and those things really started to matter. So I'm looking forward to seeing, like, what high level play of Crash Team Rumble is going to look like, because that actually might change the game, to be honest. So that seems like that might be really cool. And also with the extra map variety and the characters that can get added to this game, because even though, like I said, it's $40 at launch on June 19th, people might be deterred away from playing the game because it's going to be $40. But if you think about it, the Crash roster of characters, look at Crash Team Racing. All the characters that are in Crash Team Racing could be in Crash Team Rumble, and that's what, like a 40 character roster, give or take a couple clone characters. If we got all original characters, we could damn near get 30 something characters in this game. And they all will play pretty uniquely to each other too. Like, all of the Crash villains, all the Crash bosses are really different from each other. Like, even from Crash 1, we got like Ripperoo, we got like Tiny Tiger, Crunch, all of the, like, other characters and stuff like that. So there's a lot of unique characters that can get put in Crash Team Rumble. And I'm looking forward to seeing, like, who gets added over time, like what their year one roadmap could be. I think would be very cool. So keeping an eye out on that, definitely. Do I think getting this game at launch is going to be worth it? I think so, it's mostly going to be down to how many friends you're going to have active playing the game with you. So if you can convince maybe like 1 or 2 other friends to grab the game, you can still jump into a match with 3 players and then have a rando. But if you can get a full stack of 4, I think that's going to be where Crash Team Rumble is going to really shine. And I think this could be a very unique multiplayer opportunity for people. So definitely don't sleep on Crash Team Rumble. This might be a wave for 2023, especially since it's like I said, there's nothing else like it right now. So I definitely think it's going to be worth keeping an eye out. So definitely, if you want more information and also more gameplay for Crash Team Rumble, keep it locked here over at ConMenRDW. My name is David, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.